Before we begin, I invite you to gently close your ears and focus on what remains when all external sounds fade away. It's like sitting in a quiet room, and after a while, you notice a subtle ringing or hum beneath the silence. If you listen closely, you'll start to experience this soft, constant presence, something that feels like the very fabric of reality itself. In quantum physics, it's said that everything is connected at the most fundamental level, and that everything we see is just a manifestation of deeper, unseen energy. What you are hearing, or rather feeling, is that same energy, that same field of potential. This subtle ringing is what we call the sound of silence. It's not just an abstract concept or some external force. It's the very essence of you. Everything we discuss in this session, and the ones to come, will be about this sound of silence. It is not something separate or different from you. It is you. This exploration is about realizing that the sound of silence is your own inner being, your most fundamental nature, the stillness from which all life arises. You are that, the very presence behind everything. The key message being expressed is that we are not the elements that we typically associate with our existence, earth or fire, wind or space. It isn't about someone else, nor is it for a specific individual. It's meant for anyone who is ready to grasp this message, including me. The concept being laid out here is that I must perceive myself as a conscious being, one that witnesses everything. This is the core of liberation. I am the witness to all the thoughts, sensations, and actions that happen, but I am not those things themselves. When I think of myself as this witness, it means I am the observer who remains unaffected by whatever occurs. Just as a witness in a courtroom isn't the one committing the act or suffering from it, but simply observing. The key lies in understanding that I can observe everything. My thoughts, emotions, sensations, without becoming entangled in them. Thoughts arise, and I may experience happiness or sadness, but those thoughts are not who I am. I am the one who is aware of both the presence and absence of thoughts, a constant observer of the processes happening within me. The real question is whether I am that entity caught up in the thoughts, or if I am the one who witnesses it all, untouched by it. This teaching isn't directed at anyone else but to me, reminding me that I am not defined by my thoughts or actions, nor am I tied to the reactions that follow those thoughts. Instead, I am the one who can observe them all without being caught up in the cycle of action and reaction. For example, if a close relative dies, I may feel the immediate emotional and physical responses of grief, crying, pain, sorrow, but the one who is truly aware of all this, the one who witnesses it, remains untouched. That witness is me, and the problem is not the emotions or the thoughts themselves, but in believing that I am the one attached to them. In reality, I am not attached to any of it. I am just an ever-present witness, and this is evident because no matter how intense the situation, I can always step away from it. If I were truly attached to the situation, how could I ever step out of it? But because I am not, I can remain unaffected. This witness is present in all states, whether I am awake, dreaming, or sleeping, continuously observing without being impacted. Even when there is action, the witness observes, and when there is no action, there is no reaction to witness. In times of peace, when there are no thoughts or sensations, the witness remains, and there is only tranquility and silence. However, people who don't grasp this deeply often try to reach a state where there is no action or reaction, but that's not possible as long as the body and mind are functioning. There will always be thoughts and corresponding reactions, but true understanding lies in knowing that none of it truly affects me, the witness. This is liberation, knowing that, regardless of what happens, I am not affected by it. The idea that I could become someone who faces problems without being impacted by them is a misunderstanding. The truth is that life will present challenges, and I will experience emotions like sadness, but those emotions don't define who I am. Sadness is merely a sensation that arises when something I don't like happens, much like the burning sensation when a hot object touches the skin. When I see something and a thought arises, it links to a memory, but this linking happens automatically. The witness doesn't cause this, nor does it interfere. It simply observes. For instance, when I see someone, I automatically recall their name and picture their image, but I don't actively do anything to bring these memories up. They surface on their own. Thoughts form by themselves, but as the witness, I remain untouched by the process. Now the instruction is clear. If I separate myself from identifying with my body and instead remain as the unbound conscious self, I will immediately experience happiness, peace, and freedom. This is not a teaching meant for someone else. It is directed at me. When it says to separate from the body, it doesn't mean physically detaching from it, but mentally letting go of the belief that I am the body. If I can step into the role of the conscious witness and let go of the attachment to the physical self, I will find instant joy and serenity. It's a profound realization because it doesn't require any effort or action on my part. It's simply a matter of understanding who I truly am. I have to recognize that my current state, where I am constantly identified with my body and mind, keeps my thoughts and actions alive. But if I adopt an attitude of indifference, just letting things unfold as they will, those thoughts and actions will eventually cease to trouble me. If, for instance, two children are fighting and I take one side, the fight intensifies, but if I remain indifferent, they will likely resolve the conflict on their own. In the same way, by remaining indifferent to my thoughts, I allow them to pass without engaging with them. This indifference brings about silence or tranquility. Silence in this context is not just the absence of noise, but a deep state of being where I am one with the ultimate truth. Silence comes from the word meaning to be one with the end, which refers to being aligned with the ultimate goal of life. When I can be one with the concept of death, when I no longer fear it or avoid it, then I am truly alive. Until then, I am merely living a life defined by memories and past conditioning. What people call life is often nothing more than a series of reactions based on past experiences. My actions, thoughts, and even future plans are all shaped by my memories, which are dead and gone. So, in a sense, by living this way, I am living with the dead, constantly reacting to past experiences rather than being fully present in the moment. I believe I am alive, but if my life is driven by memories, then I am no more alive than a robot. A robot can perform tasks, respond to triggers, and even speak based on pre-programmed responses, but it cannot feel. Similarly, I can go through the motions of life, reacting to situations based on past memories, but if I am not fully present, am I truly living? A robot can mimic life, but it cannot experience it. The same is true for me if I am only reacting to the past rather than living in the present moment. Therefore, the teaching urges me to stop identifying with these dead memories and to recognize that I am the living, conscious witness to it all, beyond the reach of any memory or reaction. This realization is the key to true liberation, peace, and happiness.